Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss search, seizure and liability to pay in certain cases. See, when we talk about search provisions, the basic power which is available to the proper officer with the approval of Joint Commissioner, he can search a premise if there is a reason to believe. Very strong word, not suspicion, reason to believe. He should have evidences that the person has evaded tax. Only in that case, the business premise or any other premise can be searched. Search has huge ramifications to any particular person, and that's why there is this restriction that it has to be done only when there is a reason to believe. Say suppose other than search, are there other alternatives? See, section 67 deals with search provisions. It is also possible that a search can be conducted while the goods are in transit. That is section 68, which requires carrying e-way bill, and then the search in transit provision is covered by section 129. See, 129 will be discussing in offences and penalties, where a penalty can be charged in case search is done during transit. But can you also call persons to give evidences? Yes, that is a power to summon which comes from section 70, gives the power to summon. Thereafter you have section 71 where department can get access to a business premise and thereafter call for documents. That's also a power which is available. Now what happens after search? The goods are seized, documents are seized. Now when these are seized, a seizure order will be issued. And this seizure order is non-appealable. A person cannot file an appeal against the seizure order to the appellate authority. Thereafter, the show cause notice is issued. The time limit to issue show cause notice in case of search, seizure, etc. is 6 months plus another extension of 6 months. If it is not issued within the 6 months plus 6 months, in that case, the goods have to be returned unconditionally. Sir, say suppose I want the goods tomorrow only, then either you can pay tax interest penalty or you can also give a bond, and when bond is given, the goods will be provisionally released to you. Otherwise, if they don't issue within 1 year, in that case, you will get the goods back. And once they issue a show cause notice, if any document is not relied upon by them, that has to be returned within 30 days. कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स ऐसे होते हैं जो काम नहीं आए उनको फॉर दी शो कॉज नोटिस, दैट हैज टू बी रिटर्न्ड विद इन 30 days. प्लस, कैन आई टेक द कॉपीज ऑफ द डॉक्यूमेंट्स व्हिच हैव बीन सीज्ड बाय देम? द आंसर इज ऑब्वियस, यस, इट इज कंप्लीटली परमिटेड. आफ्टर इशुएंस ऑफ शो कॉज नोटिस, रिप्लाई, personal hearing, and then an order will be passed. They can also pass an order confiscating the goods in case there is a case where tax evasion was with an intent to evade tax and defraud the government. In such cases, confiscation is also possible. But can you also provisionally get the goods released? Yes, you can either pay tax interest or penalty, and then otherwise you can also give a bond. Both the provisions are permitted. So this is the ambit of search and seizure. What's the difference between seizure and confiscation? Seizure may they have the possession of the goods, but ownership is still with you. But in confiscation, government takes over the ownership. Government becomes the owner of such goods. This is about search and seizure. Then there is a topic called as liability to pay in certain cases. This is governed by section 85 to section 94. Now this section 85 to 94 deals with liability in certain cases. What does it deal with? See, if I were to tell you in short, liability in certain cases is government is trying to get money from one of the parties involved in that. And everywhere in this, you'll find jointly and severally liable. For example, say suppose there is a sale of business. A has sold business to B. अब business बेच दिया. After that, if any fraud happens, B will be responsible. But what about the fraud which has already happened? Before the sale, if there is a fraud which has happened, In that case, who will be responsible? The government says A and B will be jointly and severally liable. That means गवर्नमेंट ए से भी पैसे रिकवर कर सकता है, गवर्नमेंट बी से भी पैसे रिकवर कर सकता है. दिस इज अ पावर विच इज गिवन टू गवर्नमेंट by section 85, which says both will be jointly and severally liable. Now thereafter, the law also provides that if there is a principal and agent transaction, both will be jointly and severally liable. If there is a partner of a partnership firm, all partners are jointly and severally liable. Directors, if it's a private limited company, then jointly and severally liable if they were involved in that offense. If there is a public limited company, then no, they are not jointly and severally liable. Plus, government also provides a relief that private limited company converted into public limited, still those directors will not be jointly and severally liable. Thereafter, in case of a minor and his guardian, both minor and guardian will be jointly and severally liable. This is also given in the law. Sir, can we recover money from minor? The law is so harsh here. It says minor will be considered as if he is a major, and a lunatic or a person who is a drunkard, he will be considered as if he is not a lunatic or drunkard. So the law is very, very harsh here, where government tries to recover money from some or the other person. And what about a retiring partner? Retiring partner will be liable for any dues whether or not determined as on the date of retirement. Till the date of retirement, any dues which are pending, that retiring partner will be jointly and severally liable. Whether determined or not determined, he will be liable. Okay. Sir, what about dues after he retires? Dues after he retires, he is not liable, provided he or the firm has informed the department saying that this person has retired. Once it is informed to department, thereafter there would not be any kind of issue. Clear with this? Yes. Okay. So retiring partner has to inform within 30 days. If he does not inform, then till the date he informs, he will be jointly and severally liable. Now what happens in case of a dissolution? In case of a dissolution will always be subject to insolvency and bankruptcy call. Government cannot recover money from everyone, even when insolvency and bankruptcy code has some rules. So IBC will be preferred whenever government wants to recover any GST which is pending. Clear? In case there is any insolvency proceeding going against them, first IBC will be given preference and only then recovery will happen. But if it's a discontinued business, like it's not a case of dissolution, it's not a case of closure, it's just a simple case where everyone was solvent and then it is closed. Still, even in such cases, jointly and severally liable clause would be applicable on the partners, on the karta, on the other members of the HUF, on the trustee, on the minor, on the guardian, on the directors who are involved in it. Clear with this? The government has kept it as wide as possible so that government can recover tax dues from at least someone. Yes, so this was about liability in certain cases, jointly and severally liable. See you all in the next video.